Chef Kim here to show you how I make caramel. Now in this pot, which is a heavy duty pot, I have 1.5 cups of water and 2 cups of sugar. I stirred it with a whisk for about 10 seconds. Now I leave it alone and just let it come to a boil and then lower the heat to a simmer. You want it to be simmering pretty good. You don't want to be too far away. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes for it to get to the proper color. In the meantime, I have 2 sticks of butter, cold butter cut up, and 2 cups of heavy whipping cream. And you want those to be ready because when this caramel turns the color you want it to, it's going to go quick. Just like if you're browning nuts. If you're not careful, they go from brown to black in a real hurry. So be prepared. Mise en place. Alright, now I can start to smell the caramel. And you can see it's getting a little bit of color. Now still do not stir it. You can take a pastry brush and wet it and kind of go around the sides, but that's to me a waste of time and energy. It doesn't make that big of a difference in gaining what, a half a teaspoon more of caramel. I just don't think it's worth it. It's best leave it alone. If you stirred it at this point, it would crystallize and you'd have to just throw it away. So at this point, you don't want to go far, and make sure you have your butter and your cream right close at hand. It'll also have either a whisk or you can use a spoon too. Make sure you use a high temp spoon. You don't want plastic in your caramel. Alright, now it's getting browner. See, you can tell. You want to make sure it's all even. Now it's getting pretty close. I let it, you could add the cream right now. The longer you let it go, the richer the caramel color, but just be careful. Don't take a chance if you're not sure. You can see it's brown, golden. We'll count 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Feel like it was kind of close. So I wouldn't take that chance. Cream add first. Don't worry about the butter right at this minute. Just add the cream. Now what's going to happen is, look at that. It turns into this big, the cold cream makes this just congeal. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Now at this point, turn your heat down because it will go over. Keep stirring that around. You can see it's the bubbling. It's starting to rise. So be careful. Caramel is very hot. So it's turned down quite a bit. But this is a heavy pan and it takes everything a while to cool down. You can see it's simmering down a little bit. Alright, now I'm going to add the butter, a few pieces at a time. And I think I'm going to switch over to the whisk. You can see already a lot of that caramel has already dissolved. It's a lot softer than when you first added the cream. And play with your heat. You want it to come back to a boil because you need everything to melt together. Alright, now I've got all the butter in and there's just a little bit of that caramel that hasn't dissolved. But it's close, another 20 seconds. So what I want to do now is bring it back to a boil and then lower the heat so it's gently simmering, but it needs to be simmering, and let it go for 8 to 10 minutes and then turn the heat off. Well, here's the caramel. Now obviously it's very hot, so it doesn't look as thick as it will end up being, but this is how it should look. Look at that gorgeous color. Now let it cool down I like to let it sit out for at least a half an hour or so, and then I'll put it into a jar and cool it in the refrigerator, stirring it every 30 minutes or so. Now here's the finished caramel. I just wanted to show you what it looked like when it's chilled. Now this is pretty thick. You can thin it a little if you want to with water. Just be careful you don't add too much, because you don't want to ruin that consistency. But look at that gorgeous color. I'll tell you, this is some great sauce. You should definitely give it a try.